Hey, Christy here with Go See Christy Beauty Boutique. So we've been doing this whole series on oily skin and acne, and in our last video we did a video on the best cleansers for oily skin and acne. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you click on the eye up above and check that out. So when we did this video, we actually got a few requests on product reviews. So I didn't name any specific cleansers or products. I just basically talked about the ingredients that you want to look for. So because we got these requests, we're actually going to do a product review. Now keep in mind that there are a whole array of acne cleansers out there, and we're not going to review every single one. But I am going to review the ones that I have tested on many of my own clients who have many different skin conditions and skin types. We're basically focusing on people who have oily skin and acne, and what results that we got were basically overall the best. So today we're going to be reviewing the Clear Cell cleanser, and it is created by Image Skincare. Now this is a gel-based foaming cleanser, and it smells slightly of tea tree oil and mint. Now personally, I am someone who doesn't prefer tea tree because I think it's too strong. I have a very sensitive nose. However, this one is a very light, refreshing scent. And it is great for people who have combination oily skin or acne. I don't really recommend it for extremely sensitive skin types or people who have rosacea. So this is the gel-based foaming cleanser, and so so if you look at it, it's nice and clear. And then what you want to do is on moist hands, you want to work it up to a foam. Now if you're using this as a first cleanse, it's going to look milky like this because it's going to take off break down the oil and the makeup. Then when you do your second cleanse, it will foam up a whole lot more. And you can actually work it up to a really good lather. So this is actually really good for the first cleanse because I actually have lotion on my hands. So you can see that it has a really nice foam to it, and it smells really light and refreshing. Now this cleanser removes makeup. It also removes skin impurities. It breaks down the oil. And what I normally do is when I'm doing a product review, I always look at the title. And then what I do is I actually turn it around to the ingredients to see what ingredients in the back actually will do what the front says. So for example, if it is an acne cleanser, it'll usually use words like purify, oil-free, clarify. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the ingredients to actually see if it actually does that. And not only the ingredients that actually does that, where on the ingredients list it actually lies. So typically you want a lot of these ingredients to be in ideally the top third or middle third of it. When it's an active ingredient and it's at the very bottom, then you are not getting your money's worth. And in America, they're actually required to put the active ingredient and the percentage at the top so that you can actually see what ingredient they're using for its claim. Now this ingredient, or this cleanser, let's try it again. Oops, sorry. Now what I like about this cleanser, it does have quite a few things to help with acne and reducing the number of acne that you do have. And what I mean by that is it has salicylic acid, which is a beta hydroxy acid, and that helps dissolve a lot of the impurities that can clog the pores. It's a 5% salicylic blend. What that means is 2% of it is salicylic acid, and then the other part of it is a neem extract, which is considered a purifying botanical. It also has extracts of honey, which is also a purifying botanical as well. So it gently exfoliates. It doesn't have any parabens in it. And then it also has, which a lot of acne cleansers do not have, is anti-inflammatories and ingredients that calm down the skin and brings down redness. For example, horse chestnut, Arnica montana, and Boswellia serrata, and extracts of chamomile. These all calm down the skin and reduce the redness. Excuse me, there is a pro tip, so hang on towards the end and we're going to offer some pro tips. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks! Okay, so here are some things you need to note about this cleanser. The first one is because it does have BHA or beta hydroxy acids, which are gentle exfoliating properties, you do have to wear a sunscreen when you're using this product or any other product that contains AHAs and or BHAs. So that's the first one. The second one is, I had mentioned earlier in the video that if you have extremely sensitive skin, it may not work with your skin because it does contain ammonium lauryl sulfate. Now, sulfates are generally not recommended if you have in your shampoos because it can strip and pull the color from your hair. Now, this can naturally be derived from coconut, but a lot of times it is manufactured in a lab. So it's designed to foam, it's designed to break down oil very quickly. So for those of you who have very sensitive skin, you may not be able to use this. Okay, on with the next part. Wait, here comes the pro tip. Okay, so here is the thing with acne cleansers, and this is no different. When you are using a cleanser day after day to break down the oil, control the oil, help exfoliate your skin, even if you have oily skin, can dry out. So the pro tip is you can actually alternate using this to control your oil and your acne with a balancing cleanser such as this. And this is the Ormetic Balancing Cleanser. Now this is also a gel-based cleanser, but it doesn't use any sulfates. It actually uses glucoside, which is a surfactant derived from sugar, which is a moisture-binding ingredient, and it foams just as nicely. It is very gentle on the skin. It's 99% organic, and instead of using mostly water, they use aloe vera gel. So here are some suggestions that how you can use your acne cleanser along with a balancing cleanser. And you can do it with most any other products. However, I do recommend that when you're using an acne cleanser of the same line, that you get the balancing cleanser also from the same line because it has similar pHs. They are pH compatible. So for example, let's say you have slight acne. So in the morning, you would wash with this and then wash again. So 2 cleanses with your balancing cleanser. And then in the evening, if you can do your first wash with your balancing cleanser and then your second cleanse, which actually cleanses the skin with your acne cleanser. If you have more breakouts, you can actually do both cleanses in the evening with your acne cleanser. So you can alternate the use of the cleansers so that your skin does not dry out. Now the second pro tip is with exfoliating. Here is another tip that you can do to boost the exfoliating properties of your cleanser. So let's say you're using your Clear Cell Cleanser. The Image Skincare line also has a ageless resurfacing mask. Now with my clients, because the third ingredient is glycolic acid, which can be quite harsh for some skin types, especially sensitive skin or rosacea prone. Glycolic acid, because of the high amount of glycolic acids, people see results very, very quickly. But you do have to grow your tolerance to this. Okay, so how you can do this is in the evening on your second cleanse, not every single night, is you would add about a dime size of this mask into the cleanser. So basically what you're doing is you're boosting the exfoliating properties of your cleanser. You can look at it that way, or you're actually diluting the exfoliating properties of your exfoliator. So instead of going right to this in the evening of your second cleanse, you mix a little bit of this with this, and you don't do it every single evening. Now you can also do it with the Ormetic Balancing Cleanser as well if your skin is drying out too much. Then if your skin is accustomed to the high amount of exfoliation, you can also use this once a week for deep exfoliating properties and use it as a mask. But I don't recommend for most people to just jump right into this as a mask. So the great thing about this mask is you can do 3-in-1. You can use it alone as a scrub, you can dilute it in your cleanser, and then you can also use it as a mask. So I do want to say that I am not being endorsed by Image Skincare. These are products that I have used for years on a whole array of different skin types and clients, and these give the overall best results. I do carry other skincare lines for different types of clients because I do know that one skincare line cannot address every single person, but I do wanted to go ahead and review that one as one of the cleansers that I do recommend. So thank you for watching, and make sure to go ahead and look in the descriptions below if you want more information on them. Bye!